but nature stripped. He's a force of nature today. Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying. Yeah!
But Kevin Tari hit the front deliberately.
But this is a blitz. It's a weak blitz.
Have a go, you mug.
Mugs, how are we here? Back for another week. The second week of the carnival this week. I'm here with Moz and the big man Lloydy. Fellas, how are you?
Mate, going well in lockdown, but thankfully Sportsbet have provided the warmth with my jacket. But it just means there's plenty of racing to watch. And Lloydy, I'll pass on to you, mate, because I know that you're one that gets down to the track at 2 a.m. with the binoculars and looking out. How have you found being at home this week?
Yeah, mate, not too bad. Obviously, a couple of races around Queensland. I think we've been every day this week. So that's been good. Keep us a little bit sane, but looking forward to the weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's not a bad little card. Of course, we got to go out there for a couple of hours nonetheless last week, but we're back at Doomben. So finally, we could have some actual form and data to go off with what we read out on paper this week and not rail out 55 eaters and they come from the inside, the outside, backwards. What do you reckon, Bean? Is it a good card to get stuck into this week?
I think there's a few short price favourites that I think should be pretty hard to hold out, particularly in the first couple of races, I think. But yeah, hoping it plays fair. I think we've got the rail and the true. It's always a soft 5. I don't know. The track never seems to be a good 4 ever, even though it's, it must be the middle of summer or something. We need to see a good 4 at Doomben or just cut the sprinklers, I think, perhaps. So, yeah, I think it should play pretty fairly, to be honest.
Yeah, well, look, boys, we'll get stuck in. We'll have a look at a bit of last week's recap and look, a couple of winners, which was good. We started the day hot, and then it was the lockdown. That's what I'm blaming it on, mate. Just throws the everything up in the air. But Triple Ace, Beans Banger, that one, that got home, didn't it? Yep,
just.
Champagne Artie and Tilted Tycoon, Lloydy. I know you're a little tilted after, so...
Yeah. It was a little bit ugly, wasn't it? The Tycoon, I think he dropped out and I think he might have finished last in the end. I don't know. Don't know what happened. We'll blame Eagle Farm. Dig to join up.
I'm more than happy to blame Eagle Farm, mate, because I somehow keep tipping Ditmus and Bellissimi Amici. So I need to find something to absolutely get me out of the hole. But lads, this week, big week. We'll get into Doom in a minute, but we've got our Sportsbet tipping comp that is absolutely going bonkers. So, Mugs, if you're listening to this or you're watching us there, we'll try to jazz up this for your YouTube screens. Be sure to enter. You should be able to find the links all over our socials. It's free, heap of fun. If you don't have a Sportsbet account, you can sign up to take part. And, of course, the team will look after you. We're not the team. We don't look after you at all. But they might be a little bit better at doing that. So, race 1, lads. We're going to kick off at 11:23. So, we're going to be at home. We're going to be bloody watching every single minute of every single race that goes around. 13.50 for the newly turned 3-year-olds. Rails back in the true. As you said, Bean, it look good. Good borderline soft if you want to play fancy, but we don't really do that. Is it a matter of just chuck the snitchel in the oven and wait till it's done and go find your bookie, Lloydy?
I think so, mate. Won't be able to obviously get a pub feed at the pub, but I think the schnitzel still a nice way to start off the morning on Saturday. I've just drawn beautifully in barrier 3 there, jump lead and win.
Yep, certainty.
Yep.
Yeah, look, can't add too much more to that. Maybe a bit of cheese on top, make that one a palmy, but that's half the fun that we do this for. Well, look, we won't bore you, Mugs, because it's as simple as that. And going on to race 2, I mean, we're going to have to be pretty silly here to tip against London Banker. It goes around at the shorts there, the $1.95. I think B nailed it last week. If they're backing up after a week, they're doing it because the confidence is sky high. It's the first attempt at Doomben, though. So, look, I know coming off Eagle Farm is one of those tracks that a lot of horses don't handle it, but a lot of horses don't handle Doomben as well. Bean, are we banking again on the banker?
Yeah, I think you pretty much have to, mate. Comes off a pretty good win last start. Before that, it went down. Like we said, it was beaten by the handicapper, basically. Barrier 5, Ormond sticks, slight drop in weight because it's up in grade. But yeah, I have to be with it again. I'm not tipping against it. I think if you're handling Eagle Farm, you're probably handling Doomben as well. And I don't think where he sits in the run's too much of a query either. He's sort of always midfield or better. So he's never stone mothers last like a Chautauqua or something like that. So happy to be with again. Lloydy?
Yeah, exactly right, mate. He can't really add too much more onto that. The 2200, it's at his right trip now. Jimmy Ormond, he's flying. He's kicked off the season with 5 winners from 11 rides in just 2 meetings. So a couple of nice rides at Ipswich today, and he's got 2 odds on pops to start the day on Saturday. Obviously, the shorts with the 2 of them there on Saturday, might not be too keen to play at home. But if I can tip you into anything, and James Ormond's $8 to win the Queensland Metro Premiership this season. The way he started the season, if he can hold that form, that might be worth having a little spec just on the, before the first Saturday of the new season.
Wow, we're giving out jockey premiership tips now on this show as well. I'm sure you can find that market on Sportsbet. Well, look, he saluted for Mr. CJ Waller there. What was it, Wednesday? He wrote a double as well. So, mate, he some big opportunities. I think Big Bad Lukey Dittman's just having a bit too much fun on holiday up there. Mightn't be able to come back.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Look, London Banker on top for me as well. Looks a pretty easy start to the day. I guess you've got the other major sponsor of the show there, Mr. Golan with Tavion Prince, but just seems to do the best work on that sort of, soft to heavy sort of range. So it's probably one that's been up for a while, could shake the feathers, but we've got a couple of smart heads on board. Now, boys, before we get on to race 3, where we've had some breaking news just come through the last 20 minutes, which will lead into our next sort of segue chat. But Big Bad Billy Healy from the sunny coast seems like a good lad. The blood, alligator blood, sticking local, looks to be on a bit of a Cox Plate class. You always think that the blood can sort of get back to that level in the spring?
His work the other day between races at the sunny coast suggested so, mate. It was really good. Jimmy Ormond rode that day too, so hopefully I think he'll be trying to keep a few rides up in Brisbane for there. But yeah, alligator blood, mate. If he can get back to his best, he'll be a Cox Plate chance. Jeez,
not a bad spruik. Well, the Bean. What I'll do, I'll let you cut deep into the next Queensland champion, Rothfire, who, if you thought alligator blood was impressive at track work, mate, I can feel your juices from here, Bean Dog. What did you think?
Yeah, he was super impressive. I actually am in disbelief the way he's come back, to be fair. I thought with things like that, I mean, I'm not a super horseman or anything like that, but with any sort of key injuries like that, they just don't bounce back. And he looked as good as they've ever seen him, kind of thing. So it'd be interesting to see Bobby Heathcote's thoughts. But I think he's unless Classique Legend jumps out of the ground in the Everest this year, I think he'll run top 2. Yeah. Does alligator blood, just quickly, do you reckon it runs does it run the trip for the Cox Plate like strong? It just looked a couple of those mile races. Like if it's leading and tries to run it like that, I just don't know if it gets the 2040.
I reckon around Moonee Valley is a bit of a different race shape as well. Like it's that bit high pressure, which if he can run out the 2,000 meters, which I think he should, he's by all too hard. But it's an interesting one because that run in the All-Star Mile, he kind of shit the bed laid, and we haven't really seen him at his best since. So this prep will say a lot, I think.
There's no big English horses that are going to lead off around the corner like the Cleaner and take him on as well. So he's probably got that as a bit of a bonus, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, and even on that, I mean, even that All-Star Mile campaign, it's never an afterthought with that money, but the Caulfield Guineas was the target, which was the week before. Obviously, you're going to back up for a bit of a cash grab. And then realistically, you got bog tracks in Sydney with that, Golden Eagle sort of campaign, which just derailed him. So it's It's probably more he just hasn't had a chance to push beyond the mile yet. And if you miss a whole racing season as a 4-year-old, that's probably where you get that tester, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, there's no alligator blood in race 3, but we do have a lovely field of the Class 3 horses going around, set weights, sprint conditions. Thanks to our friends at Cascade, who are going to send up a carton for the mugs. Look, Tremonto's back first up, and I'm surprised it's come up as favourite here because, it hasn't won for, it's had a win last prep, but, you've got horses, I guess. Contemptuous is in the same boat there, second line of betting. Leadership's Bill with the Freedmans now. So I remember that went through the sales. I think we had a bit of a look, but we definitely can't afford a horse like that. And Aviemore, $8.50 for Aviemore. I think maybe Bean, you and myself were on Aviemore their last start and just didn't fire a shot. Is it in the forgive file, or have we got something to look forward to later in the show with the C segment?
It's probably in the forgive file. I'll tell you what's not in the forgive file, and that's Spirit House. If that cat wins on Saturday, I'll cut my left foot off. That's just that would be my block if it comes out and wins. I'm actually with the favourite here, to be honest, in Tremonto. I think, it's not one at Doomben, it's 0 for 5. That's the obvious query. People are going to be against it there, I think, at the price potentially. But seconds to Mass Destruction, a listed race, goes down to Kisakano before that. Seconds to Marbusha, which in the sort of leading into the carnival here was pretty good form. And I think distance is a bit of a key. And if we do get that soft track, it's sort of another bit of a tick. I'm not mad about the $3, but some of these, like it's dead set. Apart from Shanjomi, which is a winner, the rest are sort of, I don't know. I think it's sort of, you just land on it by virtue of what else it's up against. Lloydy, what are your thoughts, mate?
Mate, first gift of the weekend from Sportsbet, I think here. They've got the prices wrong in my humble. I think Contemptuous $4.20 is the best of the afternoon. 7 starts, 3 wins, and 3 minor placings. Last start kicked off its campaign with a 2.5 length win at the Sunshine Coast, and then came to town, struck a heavy 8 track at this track and trip, ran 3rd behind Amiche, smart mare of Van Dyke's, and beat home the move. The next start at the 1100 at Doomben, 3rd behind We Own a Smart One. Dr. Why Not ran 2nd. He ran 3rd and the move 4th. I think those 4 horses all went on and won its next start. He then won at Ipswich, beat Loretti Rosa. So how good that form is. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll find out Saturday night. But from Barry 4, I just think Contemptuous gets the run of the race. Bailey Notift on $4.20. Thank you very much. Go find your bookie.
Yeah, well, Lloydy, I'm getting in line with the bookies here because I'm with you here. I think he's a pretty smart horse, this one. Could have easily made it 4 from 4 last prep, but as you said, I think we'll be talking about Amici and We Own a Smart One for a few years to come yet with the good horses. Just think he can lead. Bailey listens to the show. He's one of our biggest fans, so he'll do it after listening to our Spreaky now. And just think he's just going to fly first up and hopefully put together a bit of a decent prep. I guess that's it. It was sort of hard to maybe place him last prep, but now that, the racing calendar's sort of opened up again, before the Winter Carnival, you can probably go, well, we can put a picket fence together here for Contemptuous.
That's it. For those that want a bit of value, that family starts trained up at North Queensland previously, now with Lindsay Goff. It goes pretty good too. It's won a few races, but I just think it probably needs to run first up, but certainly one to follow going forward.
Yeah, well, look, 2 from 2 on a soft as well, which you probably don't get a lot of soft tracks up there at Townsville. So good notes. We're all about getting notes here, mate. Look, boys, we'll move on because this next field's not a bad little field. You got Zanefa, about $2.70 at our good friends there at Sportsbet. It's last start behind Magic Conqueror, who was an absolute blowout chance. And I think this week meets Conqueror a little bit better there at the weights. But Magic Conqueror went pillar to post last week, and from barrier 1 can probably try and get a similar run. Lloydy, is it down to that Quinella that jagged last week, or is there something a little bit left field that we're liking here?
Mate, not so much left field. It's probably the second favourite, to be honest. But Fighting Commando, horse is flying this prep. Won 2 of its last 3. The Sunshine Coast, drawn barrier 5. Minonette Kennedy on board. She's pretty good young jock, really. She can really rate them out in front. She takes the 3 kilos off, and I just think from barrier 5, she's going to be up there on the speed. Already been some really solid money. 750 into 450, which is a bit of a shame I didn't get any of it. But I just think if it can bring that last start win, a 3.5 length win over Skyconic at the Sunny Coast, I think it can be in the finish.
The Bean, what is sniffing?
Yeah, I mean, you made the comment earlier, Zenefa, which I've been a bit of a fan of, but God, it's definitely cashes checks, but it does not win. Something it just can't do. And so obviously Magic Conqueror gives Zenefa away. I just thought Magic Conqueror was there's no real reason to jump off, I don't think, to be honest. If you were on last start, it's 3 for 8 this trip. It draws pretty well in 1 to, if it's not leading and you've got Fighting Commando and stuff like that, take it up. Cassidy can just sit in behind them, which I think rail in the true is where you're going to want to be. I think you want to be on the post and just hope you can, slot the rails run or just pop off their backs around the corner. And at 750, I'm happy to be on again, or happy to be on this time. I think I can't go Zenefa again. That horse is it's killing me. $2 poison.
Well, when you're looking at 5 seconds in a third from 9 starts there. Let's leave the mare in the not this week basket. Yeah, look, I'm on the irons here for one of our big favourites of the show there, Shezza Tomlinson takes the claim there. And look, here's the apprentice that I'll back in. A lot of them I don't really like, even though I seem to back apprentices every week and get 0 results. But it's sort of one of those horses that's always thereabouts. We'll go through a couple of form analyses here. I mean, last start, couple of lengths behind Champagne Artie, who I think is a pretty above average sort of T-bar horse. But I remember a couple of starts ago, it was absolutely flying home through a couple of horses. You've got Smart Meteor, Tears of Love, London Banker, and Elo, which I believe all 4 of them have sort of won since that start. So $13, there's been a bit of cash already. It's going to be flying home late. That's going to be the question on the day, whether they're doing that. It's a rock hard rail in the true Doomben track. And speaking of tracks, mate, when you have had enough of Doomben on the track, you jump in the sea, and that leaves us the Beans get in the sea.
I'm talking wop, wop, wop. That's some wet ass.
Marks, we are back. We're back for week 2 of Beans in the Sea, and this is one of my personal favourites for Beans in the Sea. As the huge supporters of the show would be aware, Mozza and I and now Lloyd, you're all big fans of the Chris Waller middle distance handicaps. And while they are littered with Waller runners week to week, there's a 7-year-old gelding from the Jason Edwards stable that, I tell you what, if it doesn't race almost every week, it goes pretty close, and that is Sir Barnabas. Ooh. Now, the 51 start 7-year-olds last win, it's had 9 wins all up, so it's cost the punters a little bit there. Its last win was August 2020, but it's had 7 runs in the top 4 from its last 14 starts. So it's just sucking you in week to week. Oh, look, it's flashing home late. I'll go again, and then it's the best 4th you've ever seen again. It's a dead set certain starter in these Waller middle distance handicaps. If you haven't been sucked in at least once in your Eagle Farm or Doomben punting career, you can't call yourself a mug punter. The horse is a Gronk, and it is in the sea, my good friends.
I don't think I can argue with that whatsoever, because that's why we're mug punters, mate. I've been sucked in quite a few times.
Yep.
All right. Lighten the mood time, boys. Lighten the mood time. Race 5, before we get stuck into the quaddie, we're back at the mile, BM 72 conditions. So we've got those horses that hopefully are making their way up through their grades. And look, this is not a bad little field. You've got the favourite there of Wham from the Hatch Yard. Jaden Lloyd, who did a great job last week there in Alpine Edge. Was that the week before? Can't remember.
Last week.
That was last week.
Yep, here we go. So we didn't even give Alpine Edge a bit of a
No,
sprint
mate,
there.
I've even written it down in the notes, but
all right. Well, let me finish the field, and you can segue Wham into Jaden Lloyd into your successes last week with Alpine Edge there, Lloydy. But Wham on top, $3.70. You got Adelaide, who's getting a little bit of that. Well, put it together last start, but was a little bit one of those horses. Maton returns first up, who's got some pretty good form lines last prep, did a fair bit. And you've even got the Mugs trainer, Will and Peter Holbert there with Rebel Rock. It's good to see Rebel Rock back at the track. I think he pulled up a little bit sore there from Eagle Farm. So Doomben's going to be a great lineup.
Well, that's it, mate. Obviously, Jaden Lloyd on the favourite. He start last weekend, and it was a great ride. And I tell you, if he didn't win ride of the day for it, and it pains me to say it, but one person that might have won ride of the day was Leah Kilner on Rockamore and Emerald Kingdom. She rode the double, and I'm going to go with a good friend here on Brilliant Concept. She partners up with Robbie Heathcote again. I really don't know why, but drawn out a bit, but she takes a 3 off, and I just think up to the mile now, it's where, this horse has won 3 from 8 at the miles. Form's been bad, but been back to the trials, wasn't too bad, and now it's here, so certainly won't be betting with confidence, but if she can ride it like Emerald Kingdom and Rockamore, it can be in the finish.
I think your minute's up there, mate. Your Zoom was sort of a little bit wary there too. I was really hoping it cut out, but anyway, we got it on board.
Yeah.
Well, Bean, if you look down where Leah Kilner is, you'll see Blacklog. What can you say, mate? Is the C segment going to be a curse of things to come? Surely you've found something a bit better.
Yeah, I've found something a bit better, but I'm concerned that there'll be a bit of hate mail coming back if Blacklog wins this week and then Sir Barnabas comes out and wins next week. But anyway, I'll just have to take it on the chin. Now, I'm with Alderman here. It's speaking of things that could end up in the sea. It'll go pretty close next week if it doesn't win here, to be honest. It picks up a kilo on last start. It'll just go forward from its racing pattern, drawn in barrier 3. It'll lead off with sort of Deadly Sins. That's how I kind of see him in the run. Hopefully it can take the rail position. And if they control it out in front, I just think, depending on how the track's playing, if they can sort of, slow the tempo down enough and then ping away on the corner, it might be, able to get home. $8 is value. This race is super open though. Like, I found it pretty hard to put one on top, to be honest. It's pretty competitive.
Yeah. Oh, mate. 100%. And even Wham, Wham's I think a former Victorian, sort of up here for his first prep. So they're always, wait and see how it sort of goes before you put your hard-earned on. I'm sticking with the Mugs trainer, mate. I've got the Holbert train, Rebel Rock, on board, and good luck to the to Will and the connections there. Good friends of the Mugs. But just, I was on last start, and he absolutely peeled out at Eagle Farm there, looking like he was going to put them to the sword. And I think McCovey Cove run that race, who's not a bad little horse in its own right, but just came out of that with excuses. So I think if the ground stays that little bit softer, back to Doomben, I think hopefully the horses come back well in 13 each ways. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Onwards and upwards, boys, because now we get to the fillies, and that's what we're here for, mate. The fillies are mares, 1,200 metres. And again, a nice little race here. And we've got, it's a marketing
race of the
thanks
day.
to our good friends at Sportsbet, where you've got Dista. Yeah, 100%. We got Dista 1, which is... look, I guess an up-and-comer there from T-Bar Way for the Sears Yard. You got jockey of the moment, Leah Kilner, on board. But when we're talking about low-key bloody flying, there's a man named Michael Costa. And I think he's got a pretty smart one here. She Can Sing. And I know, Lloydy, you are an absolute Costa fanboy. So I'm just going to hand over to you, mate, and you just fill us up with some music there.
Yeah, mate. Well, look, I haven't tipped She Can Sing. Surprisingly, she probably comes and wins, but he certainly is flying. He finished off with the top win strike rate in the country last season, and I think in the top 50 trainers overall. He's got Willow Tito in the Coffs Harbour Cup this afternoon, and he also takes Phobetor to Sydney for the first Group 2 of the carnival, the spring carnival, I guess, not far away. So, look, he's a little bit confident about Phobetor's chances. So, Muggs, if you want to have a bet down in Sydney this week, have a listen to what Mickey C's got to say.
Hey, it was a ripper for you.
Yeah, it's good. Last year was good as well. I just think because we had more runners again, it probably got a bit more of a ripple effect, I guess. But finishing the top 50 trainers in the country and the best winning strike rate, it's pretty big with our sort of buying power to do that. So it's good, and I look forward to the next season as well.
Definitely, mate. You finished it off really strong. One horse that we saw sort of come to the fore with a nice win first up at Doomben and then narrow second in the Ramornie was Phobetor, and in the Group 2 Missile Stakes on Saturday. Have to be going in pretty confident with that.
Yeah, he's in the Ramornie. He was the horse that we'd placed him nicely. Did win the Magic Millions Rising Star, but he was coming up against some tried and true horses in that Ramornie, and he really did show up and show he was up to that level. But I know it's only a small field in the Missile, but he definitely has to step up again. And we don't have a home track advantage. We've got to get on the road and do the travel, and also got the logistics of COVID, of not being able to send staff down as well. So look, everything is against us, but he's had a really good week and sensational course proper gallop on Saturday. So we'll have a throw at the stumps.
That's it, mate. Mad not to. Obviously had a bit of success down in Sydney at the end of last season.
Missions have been really good to date, but we've placed them well down there. But yeah, this is another level again. But we do have a good success strike rate of heading down there as well.
That's it, mate. Barrier 2, Tommy Berry on board. Have you got much of a plan there? There's probably not a great deal of speed on paper with Fasika on the Marble and Riadini in the middle of the field, but probably be able to settle in the first half there.
Yeah, you'd think so, especially the way that Fasika being first up and a few other things that I have learnt not to. Sometimes these small fields, you'd think maybe on paper there's not a lot of speed, and it can be a completely different dynamic once the gates open. So instructions are Tommy just going to begin well, and then just have him in his rhythm as soon as he can get him. But I was before acceptance was hoping we'd draw Barrier 2, and that's what we've got. So we'll just have to leave it up to Tommy to make the decision once the gates open.
That's it, mate. Another one you've had a bit of success with recently is very consistent mare Willow Tito. She lines up in the Coffs Harbour Cup on Thursday. How's she going?
Yeah, she's really well, and she's a mare which has pretty much never spelled. But a year ago she was running around when we first got her as a tried horse. The owner said, just see if you can win a benchmark 58, and she's just continues to come on in leaps and bounds, and she's tough as old boots. And her win last Saturday there at Doomben was extremely good and a career peak for her. It did really work out for her in the run. Probably a little bit more tricky from this gate at Coffs Harbour. I haven't had the greatest success at Coffs Harbour, so we're just hoping that because she's a bit tough, she can handle that track. And it's not an easy race, but I'd say she's within the sort of top 20 percentile of it.
Yeah, definitely, mate. She's one you've sent down south to Sydney a couple of times before, and contested some nice listed and group races. Is she one that potentially will join the likes of Phobetor down in Sydney for the spring and maybe try and knock off a mare's race down there?
Yeah, she's won 8 races now, so she's done a great effort. It's just been unfortunate she hasn't picked up black type, because every time she's been in the black type race, she's just drawn the car park and just never had a good run in transit. So the ultimate goal is just pick up black type anywhere.
Yep.
So where the calendar sort of lies, I'm not too sure yet. And we also have to make a decision whether whether this is her season, then she goes off and becomes a broodmare or not. So we've got to just got to see how she runs on Thursday. We'll make a decision on what way she's going to go from there.
Beautiful, mate. Just finally, how long have you been training for now? You obviously started out doing a bit of steward work, and now you're training. So how long's that been, just for reference?
That's a good question. I've been in Queensland since November 16.
Yep.
And I think I had about 4 or 5 years before that at Warwick Farm, so I'd have to look at that first season date. So first couple of years very slow. I only had one horse pretty much for my first season, 2 or 3 for the second one. So definitely a slow grind, but starting to develop some momentum now.
That's it, mate. Well, thanks very much for the call back, Michael. Really appreciate that. And best of luck tomorrow and Saturday.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Thanks for thinking of me.
No worries. Thanks very much.
See you, mate.
Cheers,
absolutely majestic there, Lloydy, as always. I think the big question that everyone just got answered was how to pronounce the name. So Phobetor is what we're going with. I think it's a chance. What do you reckon, Lloydy?
Yeah, I think so. It's drawn really well. Should apparently worked really well, as you would have heard just there. So he'll be there with every chance. The form out of the Ramon is good. Hard to beat, but yeah, she can sing. He didn't give me much on it, so we'll see how she returns. But she is smart. One mare that I do think might even be smarter is Toby and Trent Edmonds, the Pines. She's a winning machine. She came back and won really nicely, one run last prep, and she's been back to the trials since then. So be good to see her back at the track. Bean?
Yeah, mate. This perfect segue for me, mate. The Pines is it's just a super fresh horse. This race has just got it's got more speed than your local drug dealer. It's out of control. They're going to be leading about 18 wide round the corner with Distant One. She can sing. No, I don't even need to mention the rest. Front Money, Mary Valley, Jinx and Drinks. They basically all go forward. The Pines will be in behind, and Robbie Frad first up splits the field and wins 650 is absolute overs in this field, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm jumping on our man at the moment there, Michael Costa, and this one goes around at 2:27. You can catch the missile there at 2:55, so it could be a nice little half an hour for Michael Costa fans. Look, it's had 2 trials coming into this run, which just suggests it's ready to go first up. There's no working into a prep. Jags, obviously, they're probably number 1 stable rider. Doesn't ride up here too much, I guess, unless Costa's got one. So if he's sticking with the ride, doesn't let him get bullied out of it. The question's the gate, barrier 12. It's shown last prep that it probably wants it out in front as well, but as you said, everything in this field sort of leads. So they just could outdo themselves up front, and we get a nice little sing and run on the outside late.
Yeah.
Well, we sound pretty clever. This time 2 weeks ago, we wanted to be even cleverer. Ended up with absolute mud all over our face because So Clever got knocked over at the shorts. I think they absolutely truckloaded it that day too. Mm-hmm. I'm just bringing up the form guide now. But there's another horse, Far Too Easy, which, again, is 2 from 2. Hasn't really done a lot wrong. But as we saw last start, there was So Clever. Things can go wrong. Is it redemption time, Bean, for So Clever?
Yeah, I think so. It went down sort of, 0.2 of a length, I think. You get the senior jock on board. Not that I have any queries with Jaden. He's a super jock, but drawn in 4. It just had to do all the donkey work last start. If you rewatch it, it was in behind. I think it was Luskin Hero that led them off around the corner. And So Clever was the horse that just had to come out and sort of, it dragged the whole field up and then just missed late. So, it'll be leading from barrier 4 alongside or inside Far Too Easy, depending on how they jump out of the gates. And I just think, $2.20 is probably, it's on the edge of a launch bet, but I think, got to be with it again.
I'm going to go the other way, mate. I think Far Too Easy might be far too good for them. Pretty untapped, really. Obviously, just the 2 starts for 2 wins, and they've both been at Grafton, which you've probably got to question that form a little bit. But you're getting double the price compared to So Clever. I just think it's it's 2 wins. What are they? You know, he's bolted in 2.5 lengths and then 4 lengths last start. Beat Dayrani, who came out and won at Ipswich pretty impressively, beating Saka, who then came out and brained them at the Sunny Coast on Sunday. So they that form's all sort of there. He's drawn the inside. Chris Costa on board. He's a well-travelled young jock, and he knows the horse. So I'm happy to be with Far Too Easy in the 7th.
Yeah, Lloydy, I'm with you there as well, mate. I like ganging up with you against the Bean. It's always good fun to watch.
Very good fun.
But looks to be a pretty easy Quinella as well. I mean, well, the market suggests that, doesn't it? Oh, I love saying that. It just makes you sound so smart. But we'll get to see Durrani go around in race 1 as well. So I think Durrani form is, you know, a bit better than what it sort of reads when you're looking at handicaps and blah, 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 blah. But we'll see it come to fruition in race 7. Now, boys, we got 2 more to get through. We're going to get stuck into race 8. And this, well, it's probably not the race of the day, but I reckon we've got the battle of the day. And unfortunately, they're both from the same bloody stable. So I don't know how you can pick against it, but you've got Shooting for Gold, which goes around in the reds there at what, $1.80, $1.90, whatever you want to write your ticket for, might be able to get it. Totally Charmed is totally flying, as we saw sort of first up. Steph Thornton goes on board, but you've got the Bailey Nordic factor there on Shooting for Gold. I don't know. F Troop's in there. Golan's got a few. I mean, you even go down. You've got Freddie Foxtrot, who, again, Muggs, I'm sure you would have had a bet on Freddie over the years. It's a handy little field, but a few of these, I guess, on their day could shake the top 2, but they haven't had their day for quite a long time.
Yeah, that's it, mate. My messages earlier in the week going, you know, how do you split these 2? And I think just for the sole fact that I can't split the top 2 in the market, I'm going to shop a little bit wider with a bit of value. Tardo Key, David Van Dyke and Jimmy Orman, the man of the moment. Look, this horse had 4 starts in Australia. I think its very first start at Caulfield came 11th of 11, then 15 of 15 at Rosehill, 10 of 10 at Rosehill before joining Mr. Van Dyke at the Sunshine Coast. Ran 4th behind Totally Charmed at the 1,000. Been back to the trials, won the trial, and now gets second up where it's had a couple of wins. I just have a sense of timing about this. I think hopefully it dries out a little bit, gets to the good 4 because it'll be better there. But mate, no knock on the top 2, but just at the you get 480 to place about this rather than taking less than that for either of the other 2 to win.
Yeah, well, it's a no from me there, Lloydy, mate. I think the top 2 run in the top 2, and I've sort of just gone the other way with Totally Charmed. It's drawn slightly better, though they're both sort of drawn out in this race, and for me, it's purely at the price. I don't really have too much to split them, but $1.85 and $4.60. I've got to go the way of $4.60. Comes off, it's 3 in a row and 2 in a row respectively. They're both probably close to as good as each other on their day, but taking the longer odds about Totally Charmed. Mozza?
Yeah, boys, we'll round out the trifecta with the favourite there. I think that this horse just has, well, it's a 4-year-old gelding, Totally Charmed, probably in the swan song of his career. Just think it's a bit more upside for the gold factor there, mate. But look, nothing would surprise me. That's why we do this. Because Doomben and Eagle Farm Racing give you nothing but surprises.
That's what I've got written down here on my notes anyway. Shooting for Gold, Totally Charmed, Tardo Key trifecta. So that's might be
happy with that then. That sounds pretty good.
Well,
bet of the day.
As long as you don't throw Sir Barnabas and Blacklog in there, I think we'll be right.
Yeah. Well.
Alrighty. Well, boys, we've got pretty much up until this point. That's why there's 3 of us, so we have lots of chances to find a winner. However, some days we just don't quite do that, and it's not our fault. It's all track conditions all the time up here in Queensland. You monks should know that by now if you've followed along for a while. But we've got a new segment, and look, Sportsbet are going to come to the party here with a nice little kick into a charity of choice for the Mug of the Week. So stay tuned, Mugs, because this is going to be open to competition basis. I guess loyal fans and followers, you can send in a little bit of a tip of the week, get yourself famous, put yourself on TV, on radio, whatever you want to do, you can do it. this week we got pretty much she's self-proclaimed Queen of Toowoomba. Gaby Doxey is on the line, and this is what she's leaning into for you this week, Mugs.
Good morning, punters. First of all, I just want to thank the Mugs for having me on as their first ever special guest to the best bet of the week. I'm absolutely chuffed to be here with all proceeds going towards my chosen charity. I think it's a great incentive and I'm really glad to be a part of it. Hope everyone's doing okay during the lockdown. I know it's pretty average at the moment, but there's a great day of racing, so I hope everyone runs a clinic on the punt. My best bet of the day is going to be Sydney Race 8, number 7 in the Congo. I love this horse's first prep and I reckon he's come back bigger and stronger. Will have a bit of a task on his hands with that favourite, but I definitely think he'll be thereabouts. So thank you again, boys. I love your work. I love what you're doing, and may the punting gods be with you all.
There we go, Mug. So fingers crossed we can get a little bit of momentum going with this Mug of the Week, and I think it's going to be an absolute surefire hit segment. What do you reckon, Ed Bean?
Yeah, shoot, pretty good. They probably got more of an idea than I do. So happy to get some. I'm happy to get some other information out there, which is handy. We bought Lloydy on for a bit of that, but he's sort of underperforming at best at the moment. So we need all of us to lift this weekend, I reckon.
Well,
so I was going to say, I think I was the guest at one point, and now I'm here. So Gaby, better watch out, mate. You might rope her into.
Yeah, well, good luck there, Gaby. And to be honest, it's not a Mug of the Week segment. That's your job interview. If you get it right, doesn't matter if it pays $1.20. One of us is getting the boot. The pressure's really on. All right, well, boys, we need to finish off with an absolute bang, and it looks like we've got that here. There's a man named Mr. Tony Gollan. He's the king of Queensland. He lines up with Really Discreet here, who comes back from a successful win after a brave fourth there in, was it the Rocky Quality? Lloydy, I'll get you to elaborate on that.
Rocky Newmarket, mate.
Rocky Newmarket. But if you looked at our socials throughout the week, particularly on Wednesday there's another horse from Barrier 9, Seeing is Believing, which is the other Gollan runner. Bean, how are you looking at this one in the last?
Yeah, he did the old other Gollan runner yesterday at Eagle Farm, the old stitch up. They came for the favourite in Corvo, and then the other one gets the job done. I'm with Supergiant here though for the Costa yard. Actually, I'm happy to forgive completely last prep. He's flying, I think, brings it back here. Yes, it's not the right trip. Has won first up before, 2 for 4 at the distance, which is a bit of a push. And I just think Gutham and Chester here will be forward and on pace. And I think at Doomben, if he's back to his best, which I'm pretty sure they're bringing him back here, he will be with that astute yard. I'm happy to be with it. The $26 and $6.50. Really Discreet's been pretty impressive, but $2.60 in the last at Doomben. It's poison. Lloydy, how are you seeing this one, mate?
Mate, I'm wide. Yeah, mate. Look, it's gone wide again. I think tipped it a couple of starts ago. One at Ipswich, paid $26 at Wits End, then came out and smashed a very similar field to this last time at Doomben at the same track and trip. Beat Roman Aureus, who probably not far from being in the sea alongside Blacklog and Sir Barnabas, mate. But look, he does rise about 2 kilos or 2.5 kilos, and stays in the same grade, which is a little bit of a concern. Meets a couple of these worse off at the weights, but the weight's been winning, and the form around it just keeps stacking up. And I just can't work out how you can have it $13. Owen Glue, never heard of him, the trainer, apart from Atwood. But he's doing something right, and Brad Stewart on is only an extra bonus, so $13. Happy to be on again.
Yeah, nice, Lloydy, and you can get that 13 on Sportsbet, because I think a few mugs are having a nibble at it right now because it looks to be coming in. Yeah, look, I'm looking wide as well. I just think Really Discreet could burn up a bit of petrol too early there. I don't really think it's a leader, but seems to be a bit of pace in this race. One that will just sit back and smoke at the pace behind Snow Zone from Barrier 10, $18. You're getting a good each-way price. Last start, put Axe to the bang, the blade. I thought you were going to say sword, didn't you? Look, albeit, I guess Axe was probably there for one more run that didn't probably probably need. But this horse just seems to grow an absolute set at Doomben. It's 10 from 14 in the placings, with 5 of those being wins, 7 career wins to put to paper. Good track handles it, soft track handles it. So no matter sort of what conditions we get, informed Brisbane jock Andy Mellion on board for the Lees Yard. Not a bad little blowout chance for the Mugs in the last there.
Is that an inside tip from your good friend who's a strapper for Chris Lees' stable?
No, shout out to him. I might have to get the confidence, because I know he reckoned he tipped it last start, but he didn't really let us know that he tipped it last start, did he?
No, I didn't get that one.
No, that's all right. You get another one. Boys, and famous segment, around the grounds, before we get into our best bet. So, Bean, I'll get you to kick us off. Bean's banger, plus I know you're a bit of a sniffer around the grounds. What did you remind us of what you tipped last week too, and how that went? We should probably sort of recap these.
What was it? It was at...
These two, I guess.
I forget. The first one was the one at Caulfield. Ran no good. I've gone wide, though. My best anywhere is sort of a bit rough again this week. Bean's banger, however, I'm just going with the banker. I think it was just super impressive last start. I mean, it's only $1.85, so you're not getting much, but happy to be with it there. And then for the around the grounds, I'm making my way all the way down to famous Flemington, down to headquarters. And I think in the sprint races down there, you can always sort of sniff a bit of value. These sort of $4.20, $4.40 pops, they don't tend to get the job done. A couple have drawn inside and out with pace, and I'm with one from barrier 13, number 13, PINYIN. So Josh Richards gets a 3 kilo claim there. It absolutely flies late, has super late sectionals, and I think down at Flemington, drawn out, it'll be pretty hard to beat. 14 and 420. So happy to be with it each way all day.
Yeah, mate. Look, I'm going to play a little double for the around the grounds with this week. We're going to go north for the first one to Townsville for the Townsville Cup. We got good friends of the show, Pete and Will Holbert, the Mugs trainer. They got Hale Manhattan, Ryan Wiggins on board with the 61 kilos at the 2,000 metres. He brains pretty much the same field at Mackay in the Cup last start, and he's trained on and gone even better. The other one, race 7, number 7 at Flemington, Hosier, unbeaten from 3 starts in Victoria. He's brained them in all 3 of those, and I think he will brain them again. So $1.70, and I think Hale Manhattan's gone up about $2.80. So you're probably going to get about $5 for that double, and I think they both win.
Beautiful. And you're best at Doomben, mate. What did you tell us?
Best at Doomben. We're going to go contemptuous for around that $4.20 mark. Like I said, just that form last prep behind We Own a Smart One, Amishi, Dr. Why Not on the move. That is too good for these.
Beautiful there, mates. Look, Moz's must have. I'm going at race 6. Could be race of the day. That man Costa, mate. The leading strike rate trainer in Australia, just places it perfect. She can sing, about $4. I think it can show us it could be a bit of a smart one. And around the grounds, there's one at Newcastle, race 7. Mugs, race 7 at Newcastle. Military Expert. So last start was backed off the map there at Rose Hill after a bobbed out, I think, against King of Sparta, who I think goes all right as well. But for the Neesham Yard, you got Brodie Loy on board. I think they're just sending it out bush to get the maiden. There's no prices available yet, Mugs, so it could jump up $1.20. It could jump up $15. I'll look like an absolute guru either way. So that's what you've got.
It will be dead set $1.40 in that.
Just multi them up then, Mugs.
Let's just say $2 sent out to subscribe. That's it. Into Hale Manhattan, you get it.
Into Hosier. There you go. There's a treble. We'll leave Bean out from that.
To sound for a bit. I hope you weren't hanging shit on me, boys. Anything to add? It's a nice little card going over it now. This is the false hope of confidence we get every week. But look, we're going to be in lockdown, so we'll be watching them, of course, like a hawk. Mugs, if there's any good stuff, we'll throw the tipping comp out. Feel free to send a few tips out our way.
Yeah, that's it. I reckon the only other thing to add really is obviously nominations for the big 3 races at the end of the year in Melbourne. Cox Plate, Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup released during the week, and we got 4 Queensland runners in there, mate. So I think Michael Costa's got Perfect Steel nominated, and Flash are nominated for the Melbourne Cup as well, and then obviously Alligator Blood and Alpine Edge in the Cox Plate. So it's Queensland's flying, mate.
There you go. We might look at that during the week, and hopefully, well, if we're out of lockdown, we can have a bit of a chat next week on maybe some early looks at maybe a horse that's a little bit over the odds in the market. We can snag a good little juicy futures play on. Bean, anything to add, mate, for the mugs? Finish us off.
No, mate, just keen to get back to the track. I didn't get there last week, obviously, so hopefully lockdown ends and we can get amongst the Sportsbet comp, though, because there's some sweet prizes there for the people. So, and you could just get lucky. That's the key with horse racing. Thanks, Mugs.
Thanks. Pretty much. Thanks, Mugs.
Thank you.